Hello everyone, welcome to Luka Story Recaps channel. Today I will introduce to you a hot movie that is Squid Game. Let's get started. As a child in Gi-hun's village, the leading actor of the film, there was a game called Squid Game, where the players were divided into two teams, one defending and the other attacking. If the attacking team is stepped on the line or pushed out, they will lose, whereas if they get a position in the circle, they will win. Gi-hun is a hyperactive and intelligent boy, so he is always the winner. But the game is not like life. Many years later, Gi-hun lived like a failure. His wife left, he lost custody of his children, no stable job, drinking, gambling and debt. Gi-hun lives with his elderly mother. She also has to give him money to buy birthday gifts for his daughter. But he was so bad that he stole his mother's credit card. He immediately ran to the ATM and entered the password as his birthday, but found that his mother had changed the password. He immediately entered his mother's date of birth. But he couldn't remember his mother's birthday. In the end, he entered his daughter's birthday and was able to withdraw the money. He took all the money to bet on horse racing. After many losses, he decided to bet the rest of the money on the horse with the same number as his daughter's birthday, and in the end, his daughter once again brought him luck. This time Gi-hun won. He also generously tipped the employee 10,000 won. He happily called his daughter to say that he would organize a very grand birthday party for her. But while Gi-hun was talking to his daughter, he saw his creditor. He ran away as fast as he could to escape his creditors. While he was running away, he accidentally collided with a girl. Then he was still caught by his creditor. He was beaten by his creditors. In order not to be beaten again, he decided to give the money he had just won to pay the debt. But unexpectedly, he lost all the money because the girl who collided with him was a professional pickpocket. In the end, he was forced to sign an agreement to sell the kidney to pay the debt. Since he didn't have any money left, he decided to go back to the cashier to ask for his 10,000 won tip back to go play claw crane to get a birthday present for his daughter. But unlucky for him, when he couldn't pick up a single stuffed animal. A boy nearby helped him pick out a gift box. He happily hugged the boy and thanked him enthusiastically. Then he brought the gift to his daughter. The little girl felt very happy when her father took her out to play and eat. Gi-hun gives it to his daughter, but unexpectedly it is a lighter in the shape of a gun. Because he was afraid that his ex-wife would scold him, he decided to take the gift back and promised to give his daughter a beautiful gift next year. Now she was about to say something but stopped herself. After eating, he carried his daughter back to his ex-wife's house. He then planned to take the tram to return, but he was unlucky to not be able to catch the tram. He was very sad and sat down to wait. Then he met an elegant young man. The elegant young man talked to him, but Gi-hun didn't pay much attention. The young man immediately opened the suitcase. Inside there was a lot of money and 2 stacks of blue and red paper. The young man suggested Gi-hun to play the game DDAKJI. The throwing player tries to throw his tile so that it makes the other player's tile flip over, will win and will receive 100,000 won. Gi-hun agreed to play. But he was unlucky when he lost all the time. Because there was no money to pay, Gi-hun had to bet with his face. Every time he lost, he was slapped. He was slapped so many times that his face and nostrils were also bleeding. In the end, Gi-hun also won a game and received 100,000 won. The young man suggested Gi-hun play a bigger game so he could earn more money, but he refused. Surprised, the young man got up and read Gi-hun's resume loudly and then gave him a business card and left. Gi-hun can't understand what's going on, but he's glad he has money again. He went back to buy some food at a neighbor's store. This woman has a very good son and he is the pride of this neighborhood. On the way home, he showed his love for animals when he gave a hungry feral cat a piece of fish. When he got home, he cooked his mother a hearty meal and even gave her money. When his mother saw the money, she was very worried, afraid that her son would steal the money. Then she told him the sad news, that his daughter was going to America with his ex-wife. That was exactly what his daughter wanted to tell him, but she didn't. She told him that if he could prove that he was financially capable, he would have the right to raise children. He was very sad and could only keep quiet. At night, he took out his phone and looked at his daughter's pictures. He couldn't bear to leave her, so he contacted the phone number on the business card the young man gave him. After a while, a car came to pick him up. The driver was dressed very strangely. The people who got into the car were all unconscious from the anesthetic, so was Gi-hun. When he woke up, he found himself wearing a uniform with the number 456. In a strange room there were many other people just like him. He immediately started a conversation with an old man with the number 001. He had a brain tumor, so he decided to come here. He discovered this room had 456 people. That old man was the first and he was the last to come here. At this time he saw the crowd gathered. Out of curiosity he also came to see. This time a man was beating a girl. This girl is Sai Byeok, who is the one who stole Gi-hun's money. He got angry and grabbed her and demanded her money back. At that moment he was kicked by the gangster named Deok-soo and fell to the ground. He angrily denounced the two of them. Suddenly the door opened and a group of people dressed in pink stepped out. One of them tells everyone about the rules of the game. In 6 days everyone will participate in 6 games, whoever wins all 6 games will get a huge prize. One person asked why they had to confiscate all their wallets, phones and drug them. He immediately replied that because of the security of the game, everything must be kept secret. At this point, Gi-hun asks how much is the prize? On the ceiling, a glass pig was immediately lowered. After each game, the money will be accumulated in it. With the attraction of money, people immediately lined up and signed up to agree to play the game. Rules of the game have 3 things. The first is not to stop playing, the second is to voluntarily stop playing is considered disqualified, the third is the game only stops when the majority of players choose to stop. Next everyone went to take pictures. Gi-hun showed a very bright smile. A man in black received the order and allowed the first game to be started now. All players from the 3 doors go out into a large area. At this time, at the base of the tree, there is a giant baby girl doll. Next to it are 2 guards. The doll started talking about the rules of the game for everyone. This game is called red light, green light. When it turns around and shouts the red light, the green light, everyone can run. When it turns its head, whoever it detects moving will be eliminated from the game. Everyone has 5 minutes to reach the finish line and win the game. The game had just started when a guy ran as fast as he could. But the doll turned its head suddenly so he couldn't keep his balance. The doll said he was eliminated. Then a bullet hit him and he fell to the ground. His friend thought it was a joke and ran to see and found that his friend had been shot and killed. He panicked and ran away, but as a result, he suffered the same fate as his friend. People panicked and ran away, so a terrible massacre took place. In the blink of an eye, more than half of the players died. Gi-hun looked around all over dead bodies. He was so scared that he was shaking. His leg also had a corpse pressing on it. Miss Old Il-nam was very calm and played as if he had returned to his childhood days. Gi-hun was sitting there not moving at all. At this moment, Sang-woo in the back told him to follow the rules of the game. Trying to hide behind other people's backs would not be detected. Hearing these words, he immediately stood up and continued playing. But very quickly the person in front of Gi-hun was shot down. Before he could regain his composure, he was grabbed by someone behind him. The man was shot in the foot and called for help. But for his life Gi-hun had to ignore it. After a while, a lot of people ran to the finish line. Now Gi-hun is trying to run to the finish line. Unfortunately, he tripped on a dead man's arm and at this moment the doll turned its head. Luckily for him, a player named Ali was quick to hold him. He narrowly escaped death. After that, 2 people ran as fast as possible over the finish line when time was running out. The rest of the people who didn't cross the finish line were all shot dead. The first game also ended here. All corpses were cremated. Even the wounded were stuffed in coffins and crucified. The survivors returned to their rooms, but did not dare to sleep, and huddled together. At this moment, a group of people wearing pink robes entered. They said there were only 201 players left. Everyone was afraid to kneel down and beg to stop the game and go home. He then said the second rule of the game: if you give up the game, you will be eliminated. Sang-woo immediately stood up and said there was a third rule, that everyone vote to decide whether to continue or stop playing. The game staff member immediately agreed. But first announced the bounty to everyone. Immediately, each pile of money was dropped on the glass pig, totaling up to 25 billion won. If everyone gives up, the entire amount will be returned and divided among the families who have died in the game. If you pass all 6 games, the prize money will be more than 45 billion won. People start voting. The green button is to continue playing, the red button is to stop the game. Gi-hun was the first to vote and he decided to choose the red button to stop. Because of the huge amount of money, many people choose the green button to continue playing. People began to clash of opinions and then started arguing. Game staff must use guns to maintain order. After a while, the votes of both sides were equal. This old man Il-nam was the last to vote, and after hesitating for a long time, he finally chose to stop. The game staff name says the game will restart if everyone changes their mind. Then they sent everyone back. Gi-hun and Sae-beok were left at the side of the road with their hands tied and blindfolded. He helped her untie her. When she put her clothes back on, Sae-beok left. Gi-hun has to promise not to ask for the money she stole from him before she untied him. Sang-woo was left with Ali. The two went to a shop to eat noodles. Ali has no money because his boss hasn't paid him for months, so Sang-woo invites him to eat. After eating, Sang-woo gave Ali the car money to go home, making Ali constantly thank him. Gi-hun after returning home went to the police station and told everything that happened on the island. But all the policemen here don't believe him, like he has a mental illness. He angrily threw the card on the table to show the police. The result was that he was kicked out of the police station. He immediately returned home, but his mother was nowhere to be found. He couldn't even call his mother. Sang-woo, standing from afar, saw his mother but did not dare to meet him. He owed 6 billion won and even mortgaged his mother's house and shop. At this time, Gi-hun receives a phone call from the hospital. The doctor said that his mother has diabetes. Because of hiding, she had serious complications and may have to have her leg amputated. But as soon as she regained consciousness, she immediately left the hospital because they did not have the money to pay the hospital bills. Even her savings card was taken out by Gi-hun and spent all on gambling. He deeply regrets his incompetence. This is Jun-ho, a young policeman who is on his way to find his brother who has been missing for more than a week. He saw the card again, which looked like Gi-hun left at the police station in the morning, and decided to go look for Gi-hun. Sae-beok goes to the orphanage to visit her brother. The boy told his sister that he really wanted to see his parents and wanted to leave. She immediately went to a broker, but he said it would take a lot of money to save her parents from North Korea. She angrily threw the pot of hot tea in his face and held the knife to his neck and said she would bring the money and give it to him. If he tricked her, she would kill him. At this time, Ali returned to the company and asked the director to pay his salary. The director did not pay and assaulted him. The two got into a fight, causing the director's hand to get caught in the crusher. Ali took the opportunity to snatch the coins and leave. In another development, the police went to Sang-woo's mother's shop and read Sang-woo's arrest warrant to her. Sang-woo hid in the bathtub and drank alcohol. When the doorbell rings, a card of the game organization is inserted in the door. It has the time and place of the game on it. Gi-hun looked to his friends to borrow money, but his friend was afraid of his wife, so he couldn't help Gi-hun. Disappointed, he found a grocery store drinking. There he met the old man Il-nam visiting relatives. So the two of them sat drinking and talking to each other. The old man Il Nam said he would return to that game instead of waiting to die in sickness and poverty. The delinquent Deoksu, after receiving the card from the game, planned with his juniors to control the game staff when they came to pick them up to break into the organization and steal the money safe. But unexpectedly, he was betrayed by his juniors. The junior called his creditor. Then the junior was stabbed to death with a knife and then he jumped into the river to escape. Gi-hun looked to his ex-wife to borrow money, but she also lived on her new husband's money, so there was no money to lend him. The two talked for a while, then quarreled again. At this time, her new husband returned, and Gi-hun left confused. After hearing from his wife, the new husband chased after Gi-hun. He gives Gi-hun money and asks not to bother his family anymore. Gi-hun got very angry and punched her new husband in the face. Gi-hun returned home depressed, met policeman Jun-ho again. He wanted Gi-hun to help him find his brother, but Gi-hun refused. He turned his head to leave the house and saw the card was attached to the door. He decided to pick it up. Finally, the familiar scene played out again. The miserable people took the deadly train once again. Police officer Jun-ho also chased after him. Jun-ho chases after him to a harbor, when he sees many cars in a row running onto a large ship. He quickly clung to the last car to board the ship. When the ship went to the middle of the sea, the staff went to check the number of players. When it came to Jun-ho, the device did not display the player's information. He immediately grabbed the employee and killed him. Then he quickly put on the employee's clothes and pretended to be him. The ship docked on the island. The staff pushed everyone inside and searched them, changed their clothes and put away all their identification. Sae-beok wisely managed to hide a knife that she carried with her. The total number of people who returned to the game was 187 people. Everyone already knew each other, so they suggested forming a group to support each other. At mealtime, Gi-hun's group gathers to discuss what the next game is. The old man suggested it could be folk games. This girl is Minayo. She is screaming because she is not allowed to go to the toilet. The staff finally let her go and Sae-beok begged to go with her. Minayo is reaching into her pants and pulling out a cigarette case. She was smoking when suddenly Sae-beok came in. Sae-beok used her knife to open the ventilation door and was helped by Minayo. Sae-beok crawled in the ventilation duct to explore this place. Sae-beok saw the staff put a lot of sugar in the pot of water. It looked like they were cooking something. Minayo is consuming time for Sae-beok here when the game staff decides to rush in to check. Fortunately, Sae-beok returned in time. The next day everyone received breakfast. Sang-woo because he heard Sae-beok's conversation last night. Seeing that she didn't eat bread, he didn't eat it, but gave it to Ali. After a while, the speaker announced the second game was starting. On the way to the playground, Sang-woo asked Sae-beok what did he see last night? He said if she told him he could guess what game they were about to play. Everyone was led into a room like a children's park. The front has 4 stickers: star, triangle, circle, umbrella. Players choose a shape and line up in that shape. Sang-woo, based on Sae-beok's information, guessed that this was Sugar Honeycomb's game. He knew but didn't tell his teammates. He chose the triangle to make it easiest to separate. Then ask everyone in the group to choose the remaining pictures. The ignorant Gi-hun chose the most difficult image to separate. That's the umbrella. Everyone takes turns taking on the challenge of the game. After receiving the candy box, Gi-hun thought his life was over. Everyone has 10 minutes to complete the game. Ali broke the outer edge of the circle little by little. Old man Il-nam used his saliva to separate the candy. Gi-hun raised his butt and trembled as he separated the candy. Not long after, a person who accidentally broke a shape in a candy box was shot in the head with a single shot. After that many people also failed and were shot dead. Minayo is very smart. She hid in a corner and heated the needle with a lighter to easily separate the candy. Next, there are many people who have completed the game. At this moment, Gi-hun is still engrossed in pulling scissors. Sweat dripped down the candy non-stop. But thanks to that, he realized that if there was water, the candy would be easier to separate. So Gi-hun kept licking the back of the candy block. He stuck out his tongue and licked the candy non-stop. Everyone who saw his action immediately followed suit. He managed to separate the umbrella from the candy in the last seconds. He was both happy and scared to tears. The remaining people who have not finished separating already know their end. One player stood up and grabbed the game staff's gun and threatened the rest of the staff. Then he forced the game staff to remove the mask. Seeing it was a young man, he immediately committed suicide. At this point the game staff shot dead all the unfinished players, which was a terrifying sight. The game staff who revealed his face just now was also shot and killed by the leader of the staff. This is the end of episodes 1, 2, 3 of the series Squid Game. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel to watch episodes 5, 6, 7. This is the end of the movie. See you in the next movie. Thank you for watching the movie.